G'day and welcome to another video. Today's lesson is going to be this Victorian step crocheted scarf. Now the Victorian step was created by Laura from the crochet case, and also it's part of a series that will be in her newly released book called Not Your Nana's Needlework, Bargello Crochet Row Designs. Now this pattern has been exclusively designed for us to have as a video tutorial, so thank you Laura for allowing us to have this beautiful pattern. You can also get the ebook, which has 10 other crochet patterns similar to this one, so this one is a great starting point. The ebook is available now. I will put the link below in the video so you can go and check that out. And there's also going to be a printed version available in February 2013, so I'm really excited about that. I cannot wait to get my hands on a copy. So thank you again to Laura from the crochet case. I will put her Facebook link and also the link to her beautiful book that is out already in the description box below the video. So let's get started on the lesson. Now this scarf is a lot easier than it looks. It's made up of slip stitches, chain stitches and double crochet. So if you know how to make those stitches, you can make this scarf. And honestly, after the first two rows of the pattern, you will pick it up really quick. The whole project is worked in the back loop only, so as you can see it creates this step-like creation. And I personally think it is absolutely wonderful. It gives it like a little 3D effect. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera here, but because we're working in the back loops only, it gives this little ribbed effect and it makes all the little steps stand out. So in a minute I'll show you what materials we're going to use, and we've also got a pattern to follow along with as well today. So if you guys don't know how to read a pattern, this is going to be a quick little easy project for you to start. So I'm going to teach you how to make the scarf in this video, but you can also use this video to make a Afghan. It is worked in multiples of 10 plus 6, so basically all you do is you chain 10 chains, and then you see how wide you want your project. And then at the end of the groups of 10 chains, we will add 6 chains to that. But in a second I'm just going to show you the pattern. The printed version is available. The printed version is available on my craftsy.com page, and I will put the link in for you below so you can go and print out the pattern if you would like to also. It is a really well set out pattern actually. I really like this pattern. So let's get down to it, hey? Let's go start and learn how to make this fabulous scarf. So the Victorian step pattern has been written exclusively for Bob Wilson 123, which is me. So thank you Laura for writing this pattern for us. And we're allowed to demonstrate this pattern as well. So we've got some beautiful pictures here, the colour scheme that you could use yourself. I used 2 colours in my scarf, but as you can see this has got 1, 2, 3, 4 colours. So I'm just going to read the pattern here for you. The novelties of Bargello Crochet are the pixelated effects of the chevron and the ability to create waves, peaks and valleys of varying heights and widths. Because the patterns are created using multiples of, you can create an Afghan for a baby or for a king-size bed. So this pattern can be made basically any size, anywhere from a scarf up to a baby's Afghan up to a king-size bed. So Bargello Crochet looks more complicated than it really is. It's using only basic stitches, allowing the beginner to challenge their new skill or the more experienced to play with something new. Once you have the initial stitch pattern, the first row, made, the rest is easy peasy. Happy hooking the crochet crease. And I love the way this pattern is set out as well. So it's got some instructions for a baby blanket, a twin size bed, double bed, queen bed and a king, and other sizes is here. So these patterns are created using multiples of chain 10 plus 6. So the chain 10 plus 6 will make a single chevron. Chain 10 times 2, so that's 20 chains, plus 6 will make 2. Chain 10 by 3, which is 30, plus 6 will make 3, etc, etc. You may alter the width of your work by increasing or decreasing the number of chevrons you choose to include in your pattern. To increase or decrease the length of your work, simply increase or decrease the number of rows you complete. Please note that this document, including the pattern stitch, is protected by copyright and may not be reduced in whole or in part for any other purpose without the express permission of the author. And I have express permission from Laura, so we're clear. Our next pattern page, the page on the pattern, we've got, it's an easy one. It's only got 2, so it's reasonably easy. You can use light yarn. That's for the American people, that's what that number means. And there's a colour scheme that you can use there also. Now it's double knit yarn or 8-ply, but I'm actually using worsted weight in the video, and I am going to be using a 4mm crochet hook. This is equivalent to about a size G, because you want really tight tension in this, and for me personally I have really loose tension, so I had to drop down quite a few numbers of hook sizes, because worsted weight normally recommends a 5.5. So it's got all the amounts of yarn that you need there, it's got gauge, it shows you how to change colour. I'm actually going to show you how to do that because I will be changing colour. And then we've got the pattern and how we work the pattern. So it's only here, and you repeat row 2 for the pattern. So each row after row 2 is exactly the same. So I'm going to show you how to do it in a second, but I just wanted to show you this also. Laura has made this fabulous chart. So if you know how to work with charts very easily, you can use this chart pattern. It's got all the stitches that are used and what they're called. And then we're back to the beginning. So let's get the most important page, the one with the instructions on it. So you can go and print off your version. I'm going to keep mine to the side so I know where I'm up to. And I also want to show you these samples that I worked up before I started doing the actual scarf that you saw at the beginning of the video. So this was my original sample, and I used worsted weight, and I used a 5mm crochet hook, and as you can see it's really loose. There's lots of gaps, and I didn't like that at all. So I dropped down from a 5mm down to a 4mm crochet hook, which is about a size G. And also, I don't know about you guys, but when I do a chain 3, it's really loose. So I've actually worked my scarf using just here and just here is a chain 3. You'll see that when we go on to the pattern. I actually changed mine to a chain 2. So if you find that you're getting really big gaps, you can change to a chain 2, and that will make that gap close in like that. So that was my first sample. As you can see, I didn't get very far. And I showed Laura and said, look, mine doesn't look the same as yours. What's going on? So I started again, and I started using, so I was using a 5, and I actually, the first time I dropped down to it was a 5, so I dropped down to a 4.5, sorry. And I also kept using the chain 3, and it still come out really loose, and there were still these big holes. So that's when I did a chain 2 here, and I'll tell you when to do that on the pattern. So I kept going, and I eventually decided, oh, what if I try a chain 2? That will make that gap close up and use a smaller hook. So you can see the difference there. See how it's all holey down the bottom compared to up the top. It's nice and the tension's nice and tight. So let's get to the important bit. Let's start the pattern. So grabbing your yarn, you are going to make your slip knot. Now I'm assuming that you know how to do a double crochet stitch. So if you don't, you can try to follow along this, but I'd practice a little bit before we get started. So what it says, pattern stitch. Well, first of all we need to do our chain. And what did I say? It was a chain 10 plus 6. And to make my scarf using worsted weight, I used 40 chains. And that scarf, which I can't see where I'm sitting right now, oh yes I can, that scarf was about 15 centimetres across, or about 5 to 6 inches wide. So what I need to do is do our chain 40. I'm going to, so that will be my little sample here showing you guys what to do. So you chain 10, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And obviously this isn't big enough, so we do another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it seriously is not big enough, because it shrinks a little bit because of the little stepped part in the pattern. So we need 40, that's 20, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So I need to do one more set of 10. You can make this as big as you like. So that's my 40 chains. So what you need to do now is add 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the first part of the pattern says double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So we don't count the one that's on our hook. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to double crochet into there. Double crochet in the next chain. So finding our next chain, we're going to double crochet into there. So your first block is 2 double crochets and a chain 3. So we've got 1 there and 1 there, that's 2 double crochets, and here is our chain 3. We want to chain 3, 2 and 3, and slip stitch into the next chain. So the next chain is down there. We're going to make a slip stitch. So that's just yarning over and pulling through. And that is the first bit of your scarf. That is your first step. We're going to skip 2 chains and double crochet in the next 2 chains. So skip 2, so that's, we just slip stitch into there, that's 1, 2, and then double crochet in the next 2. So double crochet in that one, and then double crochet into the next one. Skip 2 chains, so that's 1, 2, slip stitch into the next. So skip 1, 2, slip stitch into the next, and you've just made the next section of your step. See how this one's up and this one's down. Now you will have a little tiny gap here, but when you put in the next lot of stitches, it pushes it over and closes it up. But if you find it doesn't close up, it means you need to go to a smaller hook size. That's what I was talking about when I said it wouldn't close up and it was all loose. Yeah, you need to drop down a hook size. But also, if you find it's too loose, that is where you do your chain 2 instead of your chain 3. But the first row in the pattern I worked exactly the same as the pattern, and in the next row I worked with my chain 2. So we've skipped 2, slip stitched into there, chained 3, 1, 2 and 3, double crochet into the next 2 stitches, so that's 1 and 2, repeat from star to last chain. So when you're looking at the pattern, you're going to repeat from star. So where the star is, it says chain 3, slip stitch into the next chain, so you've got the third little step. So it's going to zigzag, it's going to go up, down, skip 2 chains, skip 2 chains and double crochet into the next 2. That's 1 and 2. Skip 2 chains and slip stitch into the next chain. Chain 3, double crochet in the next 2 chains. So the next one. How are you going with it? Once this first row is done, it's not half as involved as this. Trust me, I've already done it. Okay, so you should have it going like that. So the up bit, which is this top part here, is chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 3 and slip stitch down there. So it makes it go up, then across and then down, because you're slip stitching down. So our next part is chain 3 and then we slip stitch down into the next stitch, the next chain stitch. And see, that's created the little block that's at the top. So we're basically repeating this all the way across. So I've just done my chain 3 and slip stitch into the next stitch, skip 2 chains and double crochet in the next 2. So skip 2, double crochet into the next, and then the next stitch as well. Skip 2 chains and slip stitch into the next. That's looking good. Chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 3 and slip stitch into the next. So it's looking good. So we're going to skip 2, do 2 double crochets, skip 2 and slip stitch into the next. So as you're going along, you're going to make sure that your little zigzaggy bit looks right, so it's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, and so on until you get across the other side. So what did we do? We just did our down, so we are going to do our up. So our up is chain 3, double crochet into the next one, double crochet into the next one, and then on the pattern it says you repeated it to the last chain, and we're going to, then it says double crochet into the last chain, so you should have one left, and your last block is a 3 double crochet. Because normally you would have done chain 3 and then slip stitch down, but just in that last stitch it's just a normal double crochet. It could also be a worm, wouldn't it? Let's see if I can zoom out. There we go. So we change colour every 2 rows, so the next row we're using the same colour. Now the next row, if you need to change your tension and you found your chain 3 hole is too big, see how I've got those holes? You can try this on your next row. So this pattern, you're probably going to do a little sample just to make sure you got your tension right before you start cracking on with a big piece. So what we need to do is go to row 2. And row 2 says chain 3. So I'm going to chain 2 because this is how I did my scarf. But like I said, if you do your chains nice and tight, for some reason I don't, you can use your chain 3 instead. Double crochet in the next 2 stitches. But it also says, now work all your double crochets and slip stitches into the back loop only of the double crochet and chain on every row. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to find the back loop. So turning your work towards you, going into the back loop, because the front loop is here, the back loop is there. So if you normally go under the 2 loops, don't you, to crochet normally, but you're going to go into the back. So we're going to work a double crochet, and I've zoomed in just a bit too much. Double crochet into the next stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So after you've done your chain 2 or chain 3, we're going to slip stitch into the top of this chain here. So finding the back loop of the chain, going to slip stitch. Then it says skip 2 chains and slip stitch. So you're skipping the 2 chains and the slip stitch and double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So see how these were our chains from the previous row? We're skipping those and the slip stitch, and we're double crocheting into these 2 double crochets here. So you're basically ignoring the bits on the side, you're yarning over, going into the back loop only of your double crochet, working your double crochet, finding your next double crochet, which is here, going to go into the back loop, and then work your double crochet. Now it says slip stitch, skip the slip stitch and the 2 chains. So see how there's your slip stitches here from the, your chain stitches there from the previous row. You're going to skip the 2 chains, and we're going to slip stitch into the top here. So what that does is that closes that off. It connects it to this section here. We are going to work a chain 3 and double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Making sure you're going into the back loops only. And then it says repeat from start to the last stitch. So we're basically repeating what we just did all the way across. So you go back to your start, it'll say chain 3. We're slip stitching back down into the top of this chain here. I think I might have been telling you to chain 3, which is good, which is what the pattern says, but I've chained 2, remember, in my pattern. It's because I'm reading the pattern and doing exactly what it says. But you can change those chain 3s on the ends here to chain 2s if you like. So now we want to work the down section. So we're down here, going to go into the back loop of the first double crochet, and the second one is there. We're going to work into the back loop of the double crochet, and now we want to join to here so that we can work our way up the step. So we're joining in the top of the chain here into the back loop only with a slip stitch. We're going to chain 3. You could have also chained 2 if you needed tight tension. Back loop of the next double crochet, and also the next double crochet, and then chaining 3, and then slip stitching down into the top of the chain that's there. So we've just worked our up section. Now we want to work down in the step here, so down into here, working into those 2 double crochets into the back loop only. Going to put 1 double crochet in each. And then we need to join because we need to start here so we can work our way up. So it's slip stitching in top of the chain, chaining 3 because we're working the up step, or the step up, whichever way you want to say it. Into the next 2 double crochets we're going to work 1 double crochet, we're going to chain 3 and then slip stitch down the bottom. So sorry, didn't even show you what I did I really? We're slip stitching into the top of the chain here. You've probably already got a hang of this pattern, have you? Because from now on, when you're doing the up section, you're chaining 2 or 3, 2 double crochets, do your chaining 2 or 3 and slip stitching. You're dropping down to the bottom, working your 2 double crochets, slip stitch to join that in, and then you work your up section again, which is chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 3, and then slip stitch down. But wherever I'm saying chain 3, you can also do a chain 2. For me personally, it works a lot better because my tension is so loose. and even with a smaller hook it didn't fix it up. So we've done our 2 double crochets. We're going to join with a slip stitch top of the chain. Going to chain 3. Because we're on our last block, we're working 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and last one, because that last chain bit there is a stitch. And we are going to change colours here, so leave the last 2 loops on your hook, and then we are going to change colour. And that is what mine looks like so far. It's looking good. To change colour, we cut off our yarn, leaving about 2 to 3 inches. We've still got the last 2 loops in our hook. We put the yarn over our hook like so, pull through the last 2 loops, and that's just finished off that stitch. Now I like to leave about 2 inches of yarn. Then we are going to chain up 2 or 3, depending on what you've chosen for your pattern. I like to just pull down on those loose ends, make sure it's nice and tight in there. Now row 2, which is what we just did, is repeated for the whole pattern, so I'm going to go back across that way, back across the row, and show you again. And then from there it's all the same. Every second row you change colour. You could change colour every row if you liked. You could also work the pattern in both loops, and if you do, I would love to see a photo of that one, and I can share it with Laura too and see what people are coming up with this pattern. My email address will be in the link. Will be in the link. That doesn't make sense. My email address will be in the description box below, and so I'd love to see your creations that you've made with this pattern. So working in the back loops only. In the next 2 double crochets, we're going to work 1 double crochet. We are going to chain 2. So I'm going to do this row the way I do it when I make mine. Chain 2. You chain 3 if you want to. Back loop of the chain there, we're going to do a slip stitch. Stepping down, we're going to work into the next 2 double crochets into the back loops only. And we're going to slip stitch, because we need to close up that gap, into the top of the chain. Then we want to work our stepping up. So it's stepping up, we chain 3. Oops. I'm just going to chain 2. Working into the back loops of the next 2 double crochets, we're going to do 1 double crochet in each. We're going to chain 3 because we want to finish off the step, and we need to slip stitch down there. So you're chaining 3 or 2 if you've chosen 2. Into the top of the chain there, you're going to work a slip stitch, and that was your step up. We're going to work a step down, so we're going into the, where are we? Into the 2 double crochets from the row below. Back loop only, working 1 double crochet in each. So see what I mean by that really big gap? That's what happens when I do a chain 3. Slip stitching into the top of the chain there, to the back loop only. Chaining 3 or 2, whichever you've chosen, of course. Working a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Chaining 3. Now this yarn almost looks white, but it's not, it's light grey. Slip stitching into the top of the chain there. We're going to go into the next 2 double crochets because we're stepping down, so the 2 double crochets down there. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain here, to the back loop, chain up 3. So hopefully by now you've got the hang of the pattern. The next 2 stitches is going to be 2 double crochets, chain 2 or 3, going into the top of the stitch there. We're going to slip stitch, back loop only. So it's pretty easy, isn't it, guys? Once you get going, you're doing 2 down the bottom here, and then it's chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 3, and slip stitch down there. Of course you can do your chain 2 if you need to. So going back down the bottom here because we're stepping down, 2 double crochets, we're going to slip stitch to close that little step off there. Chaining 3, because we're on our last bit, or when you get to your last step or end of the row, it's just 3 double crochets. So the rest of the pattern is exactly the same. You change colour every second row. You can change colour as many rows as you like, I guess. Experiment with this pattern. Easy pattern once you get going. And it really looks good when the colours change. Once you get a few more rows in, you'll start to see it, and it does look really good. It becomes quite addictive, actually. So you'd do another row exactly the same, and then you would change colour. So there we go, that's what mine's looking like. And if you've got a tiny little gap here, don't worry, it does squash in once you put the next 2 stitches in there. Please share your creation on our Facebook page, and also Laura's Facebook page, The Crochet Case. Yeah, make sure you share your creation over there, because I'm positive that Laura would love to see what you've been creating with her pattern. So I'd like to say thank you once again to Laura from The Crochet Case for allowing us to have this beautiful pattern. And that's the end of the lesson, guys, so I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoy this pattern. It's one of my favourites, and I'm also getting I'm creating a hat to go with this, so that's super exciting. Just need to tweak the pattern a little bit to get it to sit right. But the first one I made looks super cool, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, it's actually Christmas time here now. It is 3 days before Christmas. So if you're celebrating, even if you're not celebrating, have a fantastic week ahead of us, and I will see you very soon in the next video, and happy crochet. See ya!